Hello everyone. I am very happy to have with me a proud Tanzanian, Dr. Aravind Subramaniam, and he's secured a rank 52, if I'm right, Aravind?
It's rank 58, ma'am. 58.
Rank 58 in PGI June 2020 postgraduate entrance exam. So heartiest congratulations, Aravind. And I think you've done really, really well. How do you feel?
Ma'am, I'm very happy with my result. I wasn't hoping for such a good result in this exam. But when I first saw the result, I was literally jumping up and down, and I am extremely happy with it.
That's great, Aravind. And Aravind, you're here to share your journey so that when your juniors listen to you, they are not only inspired, but they also probably get hold of some strategy what they can use to get into central institutes. So let me start first with Aravind by asking you, Aravind, what do you think is essential when you're appearing for these competitive exams? What do you think is the important ingredient? And then we go step by step from your journey from foundation years to finally getting a rank in the Central Institute.
For the foundation of the exam, during the study time, what's important is the concepts should be very clear, and it's better to build the concepts during your MBBS time rather than waiting for your the MBBS to end. So for the preparation for the central institutes, it's better to prepare specific for all rather than covering just one or two. It's better to prepare for all, like the AIIMS, JIPMA, and PG at the same time, because as of this time, the pattern of questions were overlapping. Like this time, PGI had lots of image-based questions, which previously used AIIMS. So it's better to prepare for all at the same time. And during the preparation time, like when we write exams and all, we'll have quite a number of low ranks and all. But the most important thing is don't be disheartened by it. Like it's just one rank. Finally, what matters is what rank you get in the major exam. So if you get a bad rank, like leave it, you'll get better in the next exam. So what you need, you have to, whatever happens, keep on trying for the better rank. As for the exam, during the exam time, what's more important is as we see now, like every exam has around 250 questions and 3 hours time. So time management comes very important. So what I would recommend everyone to do is practice lots and lots of questions, so that when you do it during the proper exam, you are not slow in approaching the question.
I think he has, right in the beginning of his talk with us, has given very, very essential things, which I think each aspiring candidate should know. Aravind, a lot of times students do ask us that question, that ma'am or sir, please tell us, what should I do for AIIMS? What should I do for PGI? I think it's a very important message that Aravind has given out, that when you start preparing, you have to prepare every subject and not really keep one exam in mind. And the preparation remains very broad for all exams. Just close to the exams, yes, we can go a little specific. Is that right, Aravind?
Yes, ma'am.
And the second very important thing that he's again mentioned is the concept building, because yes, over a span of 1 to 2 years, we have seen a change in almost all exams. Like he mentioned, this time even PGI had visual-based questions. Very soon, JIPMA would have that too. I think there were a couple of visuals in JIPMA as well. So, it is very important to clear your concepts and application and, not go for rote learning. And the third, again, very vital thing that he said is time management, because, Aravind will agree with us that this year we had seen the NEET exam as well, and now these central institutes, that so many questions are clinical oriented. They are long stem questions. So, you need time. So I think these are very, very important advices given by someone, can be given by someone who really has had the experience of giving the exams and struggling with these things and gradually coming out as a winner. So wonderful, begin with itself, Aravind. I feel motivated to take your interview now. So, Aravind has been a foundation student with us. So, Aravind, I would really want to ask you, do you think that starting early does make a difference? And does classroom teaching have a longer impact as far as your memory and recall is concerned?
the classroom teaching is very good in the thing that it introduces us to all these topics. But the memory and retaining is all upon oneself. Like how much we how much we revise, how much we devote ourselves in reading and stuff. And it's always good to start early, but that doesn't mean uh, start preparing for all those entrances. Start from the first. Like when you are in your basic years, make sure that your concepts are solid. Then you can build upon that any time. But if your concepts are not that good, then there is no point in doing anything.
Right.
Then
So absolutely. It is essential that when you begin, that's what I said, when you begin, you have to forget that you're preparing for entrance exams. You have to begin in a way that you are going to learn a subject and you're going to be your best in that particular subject. And when you aim that, you will automatically do well in the entrance exams as well. Right. And now, Arvind, I would also want to ask you, you followed up with an app-based, TND that we had this year. So, AIIMS TND. And tell us more about your experience with the AIIMS TND as well. And do you think that the question quality was good? Do you think it gave you the high yielding things? Do you think that it gave you an idea what you should revise close to the exam?
First of all, it was a extremely good course, the AIIMS TND. I'm very happy that I have joined the AIIMS TND course.
Okay.
Even if we call it just a test and discussion, almost all the professors covered the entire syllabus within that specified time. Like
Right.
I would specifically like to mention Ophthalm Dr. Saurabh sir, then Medicine Dr. Aravind sir, and all. Like they were like the classes were extremely good. All of them were extremely good. I would like to mention all of the faculties that were involved in it. And the questions were also like there are questions which were exactly like the ones that were came in for our the Central Institute exam. There are questions that were even tougher than those, so that it would expose us to those questions. And there are questions which were just a bit trick in it. So you have to it makes us used to seeing those tricks in those questions. And the professors, each and every one of them, explained all of them beautifully. They made sure that all of us understood. And since it was available in the app, even if we missed one or two questions, we could always come back to hostel or home and see it again.
Yes.
So,
So
my experience with the AIIMS TND, it's just remarkable, ma'am. Thank you.
great. Thank you so much. It feels good when we are able to contribute even a little because anyways it is your hard work and dedication and you need so much of persistence into reaching here where we have reached. So if we can make the journey even a little bit easier, it does make us happy. So thank you so much for your feedbacks. And now I would like to ask, what was your strategy, Beta, in these let's say 5 or 6 months from NEET until Central Institutes? How exactly did Aravind go ahead with his preparations?
First of all, I started with the topics which I was a bit more weak in, and which are the topics that they cover more for the Central Institute. As like I had basically started off with pathology. I was pretty confident in first year subjects. Then I started with my second year, but throughout I was to study the final year subjects, because final year subjects encompasses all, like surgery, medicine, and all, and even OG and PEDS. All four encompasses all subjects. So
Right.
when you're studying for the first year and second year and third year, we at the same time we take the final year subjects also along with it, so that we would be able to cover at least most of the topics by the time the exams come. And thankfully this time all the exams got delayed, and
Yeah.
due to that, I completed my topic. And I was not properly able to revise once it was over. So I stuck to the AIIMS capsule that was available in the app, so that it was like a rapid revision crash course for us. So
Yeah.
you could, with the help of videos, you could complete roughly 3-4 subjects in a day. It was very, very useful towards the end. And once if you have to revise just before the day before the exam, it was always extremely good. And questions available in the app was also helpful. What I used to do was I would just put custom modules, put some
Right.
questions, and do random questions. So it was very helpful in that.
Okay, and Aravind, since you have talked about the e-medicos and your how you utilize things, but did you use the previous year papers in it as well, because they are important for the Central Institutes, and we usually give them with the video discussions as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I used for video discussions. I used for some 2 question papers. I used video discussions. In the others, I used the answers that were provided within the questions itself. But they were all extremely useful, because in JIPMER and all, we had some amount of repeat questions also coming.
Yeah.
So it was very helpful. and plus it introduced us to the style of the questions they were asking. Even like I had books which had the same questions and all, but I found the app always more useful than them.
Great. And were you giving your grand tests also routinely, or in other words, if I ask you, how did you used to do your strength weakness analysis?
What I used to do was like even within the app, I would like if I'm doing questions, I would bookmark them and just concentrate only on the bookmarked questions for revision for a second. And in case of topics which I was speaking, what I used to do was I would make sure that I just brush over them just before going to sleep, or like brush over them just before I was going to have lunch or something, like so that at the time I would be just occupying my brain with that. So what I usually use was I would revise just before going to sleep. Then I wake up and immediately I'll see it once more. It helps me retain more. I don't know if it will help everyone, but it helped me a lot. So I would like to teach it to everyone, but it worked for me, thankfully.
I think that is again a wonderful piece of advice. And Aravind, I often tell this little thing that you have said to people who ask me for help as well. How to manage your volatile or your weak subjects or your weak topics, I would say. And what you said is a very good idea. When you started in the entire day and you've gotten tired, but you want to stretch your limit a little, it's a good idea to spend an hour on one or two topics that you find are volatile for you. And that's what he used to do. So he used to see them just before going to sleep, and then when he wakes up again, a quick review of it. And I think that does a very good reinforcement. I think that's a little hint that your juniors would really find useful, and that's precisely the reason why you're here. You will also make other people's journey a little easier by all these inputs that you're giving. Also, Aravind, I would want to ask you, Bache, did you give the CBT and the AIIMS mock that we conducted?
No, I hadn't attended the CBT, but I had attended the AIIMS mock test. I had got around 40 rank in it, but and I was pretty happy with the result.
So good. Yeah. So did it give you a boost? And finally, again, you've landed up to a rank which is close to that, right? So 40 there and 58 here. So wonderful.
Sorry, ma'am, I had got 245, not 45.
245, no problem. But then it helped you to buck up and to improve, right? Great. And, how would you, although you have mentioned a little about the exam itself, but if I ask you to do an analysis of the PGI exam, or during those 3 hours, what were the special things that you kept in mind, or how did you appear for the exam as far as PGI is concerned?
We had got inside the exam center some 1 hour prior to the exam. So at that 1 hour, I made sure that I was extremely calm before the exam started, because we have 250 questions, total 1,250 options, which we have to within the specified 3 hours. So it's a bit hectic. And usually when I write an exam, I usually only green mark the questions which I am completely sure in, and I mark the rest for review. So by the time the exam ends, I would have roughly 100 questions for review. So I have to make sure that I have enough time for those to review those. So I would set a deadline for me, like I will complete the exam by once the first time from 1 to 250, I'll complete by some 2.5 hours. So the last half an hour I'll have just for review. So that helped me settle my time specifically for the questions I could. And for those questions which I had no idea about, I would immediately leave, so that I don't waste time on that in those, so that I will tackle when I come back again. In the end, I was able to attend some 240 questions. I left some 10 questions, which I was completely not sure about. Then other than that, the major part is the important thing is time, how fast you tackle the questions. It's extremely important to keep a strategy for the exam. Like you can't just go in for the exam without a strategy. The strategy is extremely important. For the AIIMS exam, my AIIMS was not that good. I got rank around 400. I was like even the exam was not that easy for me. But for AIIMS 2 this time we had a time constraint. Like even if it was 200 questions, the questions were rather long, and it was trouble with the time. So for PGI, I made sure that I effectively used my time during the exam.
Great. I think so. You learned after giving a couple of exams that you have to work on your time management, and I think that has really helped you as well. Wonderful. And now tell me, Aravind, what exactly did you do, let's say about 15 days or a month before the exam, when you have to do a rapid revision? How did you manage that time?
For that time, it was mostly the eMedicos the AIIMS capsule, or it would
Okay.
be along with it, I will check the previous question papers as much as possible, and then
Okay.
custom modules, random questions from the app. It was just
Okay.
all these. I left the revision part because I was sure I won't be able to read the whole thing and revise again. So I just did the capsule and the questions.
So I think this is a good mix and match policy, because this ensures that you are touching all 19 subjects. Because otherwise, what will happen is you probably will end up studying only one subject cover to cover, which will not really be useful. So yes, this mix and match is again a very good point, and I think a smart move close to the exam as well. Now, Aravind, tell me, if I ask you what is one trait about Aravind that makes him a high achiever or a top rank holder? Tell me something about yourself that tells us that that's special about Aravind, and that's what makes him a high achiever.
I won't call myself a high achiever. My rank was good, and I am very happy with that. But if anyone asks me what is my one quality, I would tell I always try to keep myself happy. I never, whatever be the rank, I never let myself down. Say if I am feeling sad, I do something like at that time I just move away from the books, see something so as to maybe some random videos just to cheer myself up, so that once I start reading, I'll be able to give my full concentration on it. I make sure that I am never down, in my mood. I make sure that, and even when I am down, my parents were entirely supportive. Like they were very supportive. I had a small gang of friends who were extremely important in pushing me through these exams. Then my colleagues, my teachers, everyone was extremely supportive for this. So all in all, I consider myself lucky to be in this position because I had a whole crowd cheering me up. So what I would ask anyone to do is make sure that you are always confident within yourself. Make sure that you are always surrounded by a happy crowd, so that whenever you are going to study something, the mind is entirely receptive for it. If you are in a very sad mood, you won't be able to, whatever you study, you won't be able to retain so fast. So best thing is keep yourself happy.
That's a very good advice as well. Yes, when you do things with happiness, the outcome turns out to be good as well. And so yes, it's a circle. So you keep going around in the circle that you put yourself in, and that is why it's important to surround with yourself with people who boost you up, who make you feel important, and who make you feel that you're capable of anything that you decide that you want to do. So, Aravind, what would be your message to your juniors who are listening to you and who would want to do as great as you have done?
Thank you, ma'am, for calling my result great again. I'm extremely happy. And if for my juniors, I would tell, say, if you are in MBBS, still doing MBBS, make sure that your concepts are very solid. Don't fret over the exams. Just make sure that whatever you're studying now, you are entirely thorough with it, and don't keep it for the later times. During internship, say if you have hectic work, try to spend time in studying. But if it's too difficult for you, then it's not a problem. You can always have time after the internship is over. Then once the internship is over, it's all about studying. Extremely important. So what you have to do is make sure that you know all the patterns of the exam. In the app, in the eMedicos app, each and every faculty keeps telling us about the important topics, which all you have to make sure that you have to revise before the exams, which all topics you have to do maximum questions. Completely follow that. 99% of the questions that came for all three exams were from those topics. So make sure that you cover all those topics. Make sure that you're completely confident in yourself. Make sure that you've done maximum number of questions. So by the time, whenever it's be it immediately after internship, be it after 6 months, be it after 1 year, whenever you're doing it, make sure that you get the maximum best possible result for you. That's all.
That's wonderful, Aravind, and I'm sure that's going to inspire a lot of people, and they would use your advices as well and incorporate in their schedules. And there were some smart moves that you did, and I think a smart study is very important when you are dealing with competitive exams, because everyone is working hard. So, Aravind, and I would like to ask you, what branch do you want to pursue?
I would like to pursue general medicine.
Sorry?
Internal medicine. Internal medicine.
Internal medicine. That's wonderful. And, we wish you all the very best for a very bright future ahead. And may you keep always smiling and always shining, and you become a great specialist and a super specialist. Right. And thank you so much for making us a part of your journey and giving us this opportunity. Right. So we wish you all the very best from the entire dance family.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm also extremely thankful for the entire DAMS faculties, the people who know everything.
Thank you. God bless you always. Keep smiling.